What up? What up? What up? What up? Mill Speaks here. But the show is Mill Speaks. I'm Mill Virgo. It's been a while since I've done this. Obviously, I've lost my mind. Welcome to Mill Speaks, the podcast. Thank you for returning. If you're just finding this for the first time, there's an original beat playing currently. I made this beat. This beat is called Miller High Life. It was a play on words for Miller High Life, you know, like the beer. I believe that when I made this beat, I was high. Yeah, that's all I got for that whole story. All right. This is today is what, December the 1st, 2019, in the year of our Lord 2019. It is officially the end of the year. We've got 30 days to go, and then we're moving into 2020. You guys will hear me refer to 2020 like that all 2020 because no real reason. I did a video on IG yesterday talking about a coworker of mine, or a couple days ago talking about a coworker of mine, and the tag at the end was "Take that into 2020," you know. So I'll probably just say that a lot. But no, the video was about, those of you who do not follow my personal page, Mills Virgo. The video was just really about the fact that I was working with this young man. His name was Dante. I don't feel bad about putting his name out there. I don't have his last name or anything. So y'all can't really stalk him. But Dante is a cool dude. He's from New York. All right? And it's important. That's an important tidbit because as a Southerner, who has tons of New York people in my family, where my family is from South Carolina, but a lot of us were born in New York and lived a life up there, came down here, or vice versa, whatever. Lots of people go up to New York. You know, we still have tons of family up there. So I understand the aggressiveness. I also used to work for Verizon Wireless, and we used to service Northeast customers, and that was always aggressive every day. So I get it. People who are Northerners typically get branded as rude initially, because in the South we're just so nice. That's really all it is. It's a cultural thing. Now, some people are just assholes, okay? And I can tell my boy Dante may have a little asshole in him, okay? But I will say this. Me and Dante had a good time chilling up there. We worked a full, 6-7 hours together. It was teamwork out this bitch. He did checks. I did checks. You know, it was cool, man. I didn't have the beef that everybody else seems to have with Dante. Even we closed, and they always say, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing when he closed. You know, hey, he asked questions. I gave him the direction. He did exactly what I said to do. Like, there's nothing wrong with Dante. Y'all just don't like his attitude because he is no nonsense and he's not gonna take your bullshit. That's just that. So the video basically was saying, don't believe what these motherfuckers be saying about other people. Why don't you just find out for yourself first, right? Then let them piss you off. Then you can add into the bullshit that everybody else got. You feel me? It could be bash Dante. Oh, and let me tell you what he did to me. You see, you know, that kind of thing. But if you can't even say, oh well, you know, you know, then there's no need to harbor that ill will toward that boy. I feel like one time he was working, and I was rude to him for no reason because I didn't even know the boy, but I was going off of what people said. So, you know, I'm sorry to that man. Okay, sorry to that man. He's a boy. I don't know how old he is. He's a boy though. But anyway, so yeah, take that lesson into 2020 and beyond, because you know a lot of people we all kind of operate off of what we hear these days as opposed to what we see and what we feel, and it's just important just to remain human as we can, right? Don't let others try to tell you bullshit about people or things. Find out for yourself. Boom. Okay, this is episode 33. I don't know what I'm naming this shit. I mean, it could be called waivers and things, because that's when I wrote all of my notes. It was a couple of weeks ago during the whole Kaepernick thing. You remember on the last episode I said I wasn't even going to touch the Kaepernick thing until I got all of the actual information, and that way I could present it up to you guys from my perspective the best way that I can. So I'm sure that most of you have already gotten the word, or gotten your explanations, or seen a lot of talking heads talk a lot of crap about this, and then some of you probably don't know shit about it. But in any case, a couple of weekends ago, the NFL decided to arrange a workout for Colin Kaepernick. They said there was going to be approximately 25 out of the 30 or 32 teams that are in the league was going to be, in attendance, and they had a whole lot of rules and a whole lot of things. They came to him on, say, got hiccups. They came to him on, say, like a Wednesday, they came to him on like a Monday. They gave him 2 days to respond. Once he said, yeah, okay, I'm down, they gave him a waiver on, say, a Wednesday. And then they gave him another few days to respond. I mean, again, this is supposed to happen on Saturday, and they're starting these talks on Monday. You feel me? So, I mean, that was my first red flag. My main red flag was the fact that this workout was occurring at this time. So late in the season. I mean, it was so many things, So I said, okay, cool. So then we heard about the waiver that needed to be signed. And then Saturday came and gone. I had to work Saturday, like all day. I had to work from 7 a.m. to like 3 or 4 o'clock that afternoon. So when I got off, I was like, okay, well, let me find out how this workout went with Kaepernick. And the first talking head that I got was Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith was so pissed off. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play. He wants to be a martyr. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. Blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just trying to figure out, what the fuck's going on, right? Cool. All right. So I'm paying attention. I'm trying to get as much information as I can. I think I even recorded, and I still didn't have it. I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand what the situation was. All I understood at that time was that the NFL asked for a few things that Colin Kaepernick's team said no to, and they got to a place where they didn't feel comfortable doing the workout with the NFL. They took it, I don't know, in Atlanta time, who knows what this traffic is like, but about 90 minutes or an hour and a half away from, where the Atlanta Falcons facility was. They basically moved it to Charles Drew High School, which, if you know your history, you know who Charles Drew is. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, nice name, great school to go to, to kind of juxtapose the situation with the NFL. Charles Drew is one of the most famous African-American doctors. He invented so much. He came up with a lot of different cures for different things. So, Google him, because he's awesome. Learned about him when I was like a kid. So that's why I don't have much information. I don't remember. But I do remember the name, and I do know that he was important to the culture. Boom. Right? So they moved it to that high school. He had his Know Your Rights campaign kids come out with t-shirts to support. He had his own media there. He had his own wide receivers there that he paid to come and work out with him. So on and so forth. The NFL didn't appreciate this, because at the end of the workout, Colin Kaepernick gave an infamous speech. NFL needs to stop running. The commissioner, all the owners need to stop running. I've been ready for 3 years. I'm saying blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the day, let me wrap this up, because it's getting crazy, right? So at the end of the day, the reason for the workout is still unknown. I have no idea what the NFL was doing. This is unprecedented. It's never happened before. Typically, if you're going to do a workout, you would do it based on what these people are saying from football, okay? Because I'm no expert, okay? But now, workouts normally occur on Tuesdays. And on Saturday, before the Sunday games, not a lot of GMs or, people from teams are really going to be able to make it. And one of the basketball players that I follow, Steven Jackson, it's a fantastic fella. He was talking about how it's nothing for these teams to send like the lowest recruiter on their team, to say, oh, we have representation there. So what it looked like the NFL was attempting to make it seem like they were interested in Kaepernick, seemed like they were over the situation with the kneeling and all the protests and all of the black eye, the blemish that Kaepernick shit left on the NFL. I think it was a game. They made it seem like they were ready to move on. But I think what it really boils down to is there was this waiver, and this waiver that they asked Kaepernick to sign was basically telling him, you can't sue us for any reason after this, you can't, it doesn't protect him from injury. It's a lot of different things in this waiver that isn't in a typical free agent waiver. And that's why Colin Kaepernick's team said, fuck that waiver, we're not signing it. We're going to do this workout the way we wanted to go do it. And, we'll have our cameras there. I think another thing was they didn't want Colin Kaepernick's cameras there. They wanted only NFL league, cameras there, which was another red flag for me because you don't trust the NFL. You don't. So if you have just a workout with just the NFL people only there, and that's it, what about the folks that are going to come out there and go, oh, Cap looked like trash. He looked like trash. We have no video to show that he looked like trash because the NFL is going to manipulate that. We've got nobody else is going to be real because I believe a lot of these people are being paid by the NFL at this point. And I'll get to that in a minute. To do their dirty work. So you got all of this stuff. I wouldn't trust the NFL either. No, let my people capture the stuff too. Okay, and then we can all release our videos. We can all release everything. Everything can be fine. I don't see how that would have been a deal breaker. So let me say this. What pissed me off on Monday, after this whole situation popped off, was that Stephen A. Smith, Damian Woody, and who did I write down? Tiki Barber. Okay, these are all black men who got on TV and were basically saying that Colin Kaepernick is trash, Colin Kaepernick, and you can't wear a Kuta Kinte t-shirt to a workout, blah, 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 and here's the deal. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Stephen A. Smith allowed for Terrell Owens to come on First Take. I don't think it was like Wednesday of that week. They had a very interesting conversation. T.O. actually questioned Stephen A. Smith's blackness on air, which I thought was... I didn't appreciate it. I did not appreciate it because, as a black person, you don't want to see two black people tearing down black people in front of other people. Alright, that's just that. It's kind of like, your family. Like, you don't want your family showing the fuck out in front of random people. Alright, you know what I'm saying? Now we got to bring these crazies into our business, It's one of those things. So I didn't feel good about it, but, it was interesting that it was said. He said that the quote was, T.O. was saying he's in these streets and how it feels like Max is the white counterpart on First Take. He said it feels like Max is blacker than Stephen A. And, Stephen A. took issue with that, obviously. He had a lot to say about that. He got mad. He got frustrated. And I didn't think that was necessary, but at the same time, if that's kind of what needs to be said, that's what needs to be said, because I think Stephen A. is missing a very important part. I think Stephen A. was mad because he says that Colin Kaepernick's team came to him and asked if you could help me get back in the league, because I want to be back in the league and I want to play football so bad. Stephen A.'s point, Damian Woody's point, and also Tiki Barber's point, I guess to a lesser degree, was if you say you want to play football, you say you want to get back in the NFL, then you would do whatever it takes to do exactly that, if that's what you really want. I totally disagree. Because yes, I want to get back in the NFL. Yes, I have the ability to play. Yes, I want to make this money. I want to do what I've been, training my entire life to do. Yes, I do want to do that, but if that means that I need to sign away all of my rights, then no, my nigga, I don't want to play football. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a no for me, dog. You know what I mean? And so Stephen A., I think, was in his feelings about this because he did say that because Max and other people on the show were just like, well, what would you have him do? He's like, you show up to the workout. And my question to Stephen A is, what the fuck is the point of showing up to the workout if I wasn't signing the waiver? Because I'm not working out if the waiver isn't signed. I'm sure that's the NFL would feel the same way. You're not working out if the waiver's not signed, right? So why would I show up, have issue with the waiver, just what? So that I could please Stephen A and appease Stephen A and all of these people that I allegedly reached out to help me get back in the league? Like, come on, man. Stephen A really lost me with that shit. Like, and he was all over the place like, well, of course I don't want him to sign away all of his rights. Well, then what did you want? Like, my dude, we're at an impasse at this point. We're at an impasse. Okay, what did you want him to do? So I think Stephen A is just trash for this. I think they paid him, they being the NFL, they paid him a pretty penny to do the dirty work, to get on TV and say that Colin Kaepernick is this and Colin Kaepernick is that, and this is why I feel this way, and blah, 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 blah. I think Stephen A allowed the NFL to use him and make him look like a sucker. And at the end of the day, he looks like a sucker because all of the information came out, and the NFL didn't look any better after they came out with their own information. Your people didn't look any better. So, Max is over here invited to the cookouts, and if you're not aware of what invited to the cookout means, this is a term in which black people have used over the years when we have openly embraced white people. Okay? I think the first person was ever invited to the cookout was Robin Thicke. I think. Max is invited to the cookout for a lot of people. He wasn't invited to the cookout for me until he started talking that Kobe Bryant shit this summer, and how Kawhi was a better player than Kobe and all kind of listen, Linda. He's uninvited at this point for me. Okay, but for the people, they like Max, and I can understand why, because Max really is he really does speak to the plight of African American people. Even though he's a white Jewish man, he has the ability, I think, to use the platform and his privilege that he has to say, hey, this shit ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And Stephen A, I think, gets a little upset about that, because I think Stephen A would like to be the blackest thing on the TV, on the show. And unfortunately, Max is kind of blacker than him as it pertains to ideas, as it pertains to punishment, as it pertains to expectation for black people. I'll give you an example. Stephen A fucked me up with this when LeBron and them said that they weren't going. This is shortly after 45 was elected as president, and then LeBron and them the next year, the basketball team said, you know what, we're good. We're not going to stay in any of those Trump hotels that we stay in where we travel, because the Cleveland Cavaliers had a deal where they were going to stay in at Trump, places when they traveled to other cities to play games. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. Stephen A gets his old dumb ass up on First Take the next day or whatever. And it's just like, well, LeBron, what you need to do is you need to get the word out to the people to get out and vote, because, X amount of percent less black people showed up to vote for Hillary than they did, to vote for Obama and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, bruh, how can you put that on LeBron when it wasn't about any of that? All that was about was that nobody wanted to vote for Hillary. We definitely didn't want to vote for Trump. But we didn't want to vote for Hillary, and that was that. That was that, and I voted. Okay, I voted, but I didn't want to. I didn't like either one of them motherfuckers, and I didn't think it was necessary. Okay, but realistically speaking, I thought it was amazing that he decided to throw that out there, because we did have Russian influence. Did we not have Russian interference in our actual election? I feel like they proved that multiple times. It's like Stephen A, he omits those ideas. He forgets those topics when he's trying to debate his point, and I don't understand that, because in a real debate you have to consider every single angle, so that your opponent doesn't have anything to rebut. Like, I don't get it. So Stephen A's trash, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand what the beef is. I think it was a personal thing, and I kind of feel like he just played himself. And as for Kaepernick, he also played himself. He played himself, because he should have told them, no, I'm good on the workout. I'm good. He should have said no. He should have straight up said no. He should have created his own workout videos, shipped that over to the NFL. I would have done that every single week. I would send my tape to every team for every single week. I would do a workout every week and send that tape out every week. And in that way you have a whole lot of footage at a certain point at the end of the year where you can really package that shit up and then do what you gotta do. If the goal is really to play in the NFL again, in my personal opinion, that nigga shouldn't want to play in the NFL no more. He's much bigger than the NFL, and I believe he played himself thinking that he can make the NFL be better. The NFL is not better. They have shown that time and time and time again, and I refuse to be fooled again. Okay, they just can't fool me anymore. I don't believe that they give a shit about anything. Y'all don't give a shit about domestic violence. Y'all don't give a shit about race relations. Y'all don't give a shit about anything that you people put up on that field, to kind of commemorate and celebrate. Y'all don't give a fuck about that. Y'all don't give a fuck about military. Y'all don't give a fuck about patriotism. Y'all don't give a fuck about none of that shit. They don't care about it. All they care about is making that money, and that's that, and that's the business, right? So I just want for our people to stay off the TV being idiots from every side that's possible. Okay. So that's the situation with the Kaepernick thing. Reports came out last week that no team has called him or reached out to him. They're not interested. Surprise, surprise. Honestly, I'm not shocked. And the whole thing was handled dumb, from the NFL to Colin Kaepernick to NFL to the aftermath. It was all disastrous, and it just is what it is. So I'm gonna move on from that. I feel like I talked about the Steeler-Brown situation. The Mason Rudolph, the quarterback at the time for the Steelers, he got sacked. He got hit. It was an illegal hit, and it should have been a flag, because he got, it should have been a roughing the passer flag, but they didn't. Myles Garrett pulled him down, slammed him to the ground. He was mad. He started then trying to grab, as in Mason Rudolph, tries to grab the helmet of Myles Garrett, but Myles is bigger and better than him, and he couldn't take his helmet off, but because he was doing all of that, Myles got up and then drug him by his face up. Mason Rudolph, that is, and ultimately snatched off his helmet off of his head. Okay, at this point, Mason Rudolph with no helmet should calm the fuck down and allow his offensive linemen that are actually holding Myles Garrett back and defending him and protecting him. He just allow them to happen. But no, what he does is he rushes Myles Garrett again. Okay, he rushes him again without a helmet, and Myles Garrett flips and punches him. He takes a swing at him. He's got the helmet in his hand, connects with his head, and it wasn't a bad hit, but everybody went so crazy. Oh, he could have killed him. That's assault. They should arrest him. Like, bruh, come on. Let's not get fucking ridiculous here, okay? But there's a couple of issues here. A few more developments have come out since I have talked about that. What I wrote down here isn't what I wanted to talk about, but I did write down that this shit is bullshit. I said that Mason Rudolph is bullshit, and that the HBO is helping cover up, because the Browns are on this show called Hard Knocks, and that's a show that comes on HBO, and it's a real-time reality show that's happening during the season. And HBO claims that nobody was mic'd up for this game. They've been mic'd up for all the other games, by the way, but nobody was mic'd up for this game during that time, so they have no actual footage or audio of the alleged racial term that was thrown about, according to Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett met with the NFL, I guess a week after this happened, and let them know that, hey, I fucked up. I shouldn't have hit him. I shouldn't have done any of the shit I did. I should have kept my cool. But that motherfucker called me a nigger or something like that. He said it. He threw a racial term at him. So one can only imagine it's a nigger, right? But let's just say what they said. A racial term, right? Racial slur. Okay. This is not hard for me to believe. Mason Rudolph is from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Rock Hill, South Carolina is one of the most racist places in South Carolina, which is saying a lot, because South Carolina as a whole can be a bit racist, but those upper state places, so Rock Hill, Spartanburg, Greenville, all of them places like that, all up and over, yeah, that shit gets, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me because he looks like some white boy. He looks like a rich white boy that comes from money, or his parents are well off. You know what I mean? And extremely Republican. Like, he looks extremely Republican, and he's a huge Trump fan too. So when I got the word that this had happened to Mason Rudolph, I did not give two shits about him because I already knew what time it was with him. But a lot of people didn't know, so they had so much empathy for this little fucker. But he allegedly threw around a racial slur. I totally believe this, given everything I just told you. Okay? But there's nothing to corroborate that story. And HBO claims they did not have mics on. So, yeah. That's what we got. So I really don't have a problem with Myles Garrett almost knocking this motherfucker's block off. Because at the end of the day, everybody's all, oh, once the helmets come off, everything should stop. Well, let's talk to the motherfucker with no helmet. The motherfucker with no helmet shouldn't rush a bunch of people with helmets. Especially one that has a helmet in his hand. Okay? So, if we're gonna exercise some common sense, let's exercise it around the table, please. Alright? Fuck Mason Rudolph, his bitch ass. So let's move on. Oh yeah, and this week they definitely benched Mason Rudolph's bitch ass. Last week was his last game. Actually, he was benched in the middle of the game last week, and the guy that took his place came in, threw touchdowns, won the fucking game. I think they even won the game today. It started out slow, but they won tonight, or today. So Mason Rudolph actually has been benched, and he's not even a part of the rematch, because I think they had a rematch today. Cleveland Browns and the Steelers had a rematch today. Steelers ended up winning that game. Of course, no thanks to punk ass, fuck ass, Mason fuck ass Rudolph. Alright? So yeah, there's that. I'm moving on. Have anything else? Because my notes are very... Wow. I did write down a story that happened. I saw a headline that a doctor sucks urine out of bladder during mid-flight. He was on a plane. Saves this man's life, and it was 30 minutes of this. Apparently, something was going on with this man's bladder, and I guess his dick wasn't where. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't have the whole story, but I did see the headline, and I read a bit of it that I could read. And apparently, this 30 minutes of sucking out the peen to get the piss out, and to save the man's life. So I mean, shout out to that doctor. Listen, we all should hope for doctors that go above and beyond like this. I hope he wasn't married, and if he was, I hope he didn't go home and, you know what? Never mind. Alright. So, I have two arguments, and I've kind of talked about this with, some friends of mine, but, this is the first time, this is the first time I think that I've talked about it on the podcast. And, the first argument that I have is... Let's see. The first one that I have is grilled cheese sandwich. Right? So, I have... Okay, sorry. I was looking to see if I had other notes, but I don't. So, we're gonna end... It's gonna be a quick episode. Sorry about that, people. But, Okay, so I have a friend, and, we had this argument. This argument is about maybe 15 years old at this point. Everybody knows a grilled cheese sandwich. You take bread, you take cheese, you slap it together, and some people put mayonnaise on the outer, slap that down so you get you a nice little crust. Some people do that. I don't. I use butter, but okay. You throw that bitch in there, you flip it around a few times, bam, you got a meal, right? Cool. So, I've been in restaurants, and I've been in different places where you can get a grilled cheese, and then they have with tomatoes, grilled cheese with ham, grilled cheese with bacon, grilled cheese with whatever. Okay? So, a friend of mine was talking, and she was like, this was 15 years ago, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna make me a grilled cheese, a grilled ham and cheese sandwich. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, it's a ham and cheese sandwich, and I grilled it. And I'm like, no, it's a grilled cheese sandwich, and now you've added in ham, and you've added in turkey, and you've added in these other things. So it's a grilled cheese, pause, with, bam, next ingredient. Okay? That's that. That's the sandwich. Okay? She's like, no, because I'm making a ham and cheese sandwich first, and then I'm gonna grill it. And it's a no, dog. It's a no for me. Okay? Because the fact that you're grilling it now makes it a grilled cheese with whatever else is on the sandwich. And that's just that. That's my argument. That's what I'm sticking to. And those of you who have who disagree with me, you keep it. But if you disagree with her, let me know. Okay? I'm just playing. You can tell me either way. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I just can't. I don't understand why she feels this way. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Okay? So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, and you figure out how you feel about that one. Now, there's a second argument I've been having for about the same amount of time. I'm gonna say, let's see. Scary Movie 3. I'll tell you. Let me get the year. Okay, so 2000 and... Right. So 2003. So what? We talking 16 years now. Okay, so 16 years of this argument. I have a good friend of mine, Carrie, who says that it is indeed possible to wake up dead. And I don't have much of an argument for this for her side. Because obviously if you wake up, you're not dead. Right? You can't wake up dead. And if you were dying in your sleep and you woke up, then you woke up and then you died, right? So there's no waking up dead. And this comes from a scene in in Scary Movie where I think Anthony Anderson and Kevin Hart were having this back and forth banter, and I think Anthony Anderson was the one that said he woke up dead, and Kevin Hart was like, how the hell you gonna wake up dead? You know how Kevin Hart is. How the hell you gonna wake up dead? And then that's the bit of the argument throughout the whole time. And then Anthony Anderson actually convinces Kevin Hart's character that yes, it is possible. You know what? You're right. But I was like, no, he's not right. He's wrong. And so that's when the argument started. And Carrie's like, no, you can't wake up dead. So I want you guys to help her with this. I've already had this conversation with a couple of friends, and they look at me crazy like, I don't understand the argument from her. Listen, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, all I know is this is a back and forth that I've had with her since 2003. The grilled cheese one is a bit more of an actual debate, and there's good points on both sides, even though I'm right and she's wrong. But it is what it is. But this waking up dead business is just a no-go for me, dog, and that's just that. So hopefully y'all give me some feedback on that. Let me know what you think. And y'all can hit me on IG with that, or Twitter, wherever. Text me, whatever it is. Or on whatever streaming service you're listening to this on. You can comment on there too. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of feel like these arguments are important. They're vital to my friendships. And it's like a never-ending circle. We go back and forth. It's constant, and then we eventually say, you know what? I'm not doing this with you, and then that's the end of the argument, and then we pick it up again in a couple of months. Who knows? So if you guys have any crazy arguments that you have with your friends, hit me up. Let me know. Send it over to Mill Speaks at Mill Speaks on IG. You can email it over to millspeaks@gmail.com, and I'll read them on air, and we'll all start fighting together. Okay? Maybe I'm on your side, and now you got somebody to fight your fight with you. Okay? Yeah, that's all I got. I don't have a whole lot, y'all. Honestly, I wanted to get those things out, and then I wanted to be able to start fresh next week, because I'm actually going to be off a lot next week. Thank God. because it is an entire struggle out here in these streets, working 2 jobs, specifically in retail, specifically on Black Friday weekend. So I'll just share this experience with you guys right quick. This is my first Black Friday actually working out in these people's streets. And I'm going to go ahead and pray it's my last one. Unless Best Buy does something, fantastic and it makes me stay a whole year. It probably will be my last one working like that. But it was fun. I was the undercover person walking around the store and playing clothes, making sure nobody was stealing, making sure that items that got picked up and sat elsewhere were put in their right places. That way, we can cut down on shrink, and then also cut down on the time you got to be there after everybody leaves to put the store back together. All of that kind of stuff. And it was fun the first few hours, and my feet. Listen, it was like 16 or 17,000 steps I got by the time my shift was over. Because by midnight, I think I had about 14,000 or so, and then by the next hour and a half or so that I was up on my feet, because I worked at like 4 something to 1 in the morning, so all the steps from 4 to midnight, 14,000 and some odd steps, and then another 2,700 before I even left work. So it was intense stuff. It was real intense stuff. I'm going to give you the exact number for Thursday night, which was Thanksgiving evening, 14,794 steps, which was completely out of control. That's completely out of control. So, yeah, it was a lot. My hips hurt a lot. My legs hurt a lot. I honestly felt old. Honestly, I did. I felt old. I felt old because I was struggling. And I feel like a lot of people were struggling too. And maybe they just didn't say anything, like myself. But I don't know, man. I felt so old. But yeah, it was a good experience. Lots of sales, lots of people that are really into buying stuff. I don't think I'll ever be that into getting something that I'm going to get up or wait in a line to get something. And it was actually fairly warm on Thanksgiving, thank God, because it just was out of control. Like, it was a line. I had to find a place to park when I got to work on Friday, Black Friday. So yeah, it was just a very interesting experience. I love all of the stuff in the store. Like I said before, I got a huge problem with electronics. I don't have, like most girls, like clothes and hair and shoes and shit. Electronics is it for me. So it's a very bad idea for me to be working here. So I did quickly, just check my steps. I couldn't see what my steps were on Friday, like before I worked again, but I did get 10,000 steps on Friday. If that helps you. I did work for like 6 hours on Friday. I worked with my boy Dante, okay? So that might, so that added to it. But by the time when I left, I think it was 2,700. So in that shift, it was about 16 to 17,000 steps, and that's out of control. The next day was 10,000, and then yesterday it was 8,300. So over my limit, but not quite at 10,000. But realistically, every day that I have been working at Best Buy, I've hit my entire goals every single day, every day, as it pertains to steps. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. So I feel good about that. I feel good about being able to be up on my feet for that long and productive at the same time. So it's cool. I pray that all of you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I don't know who all celebrates and what all you do to celebrate, but I enjoyed myself. I had worked the night before and came home and went to sleep, and I did all the prep work that I normally do, cut the cheese and shit up for the mac and cheese, cut the, onion, celery, and bell peppers and all the other shit, the meat and the eggs, and they've cut all that shit up for the dressing. You know, all of those things I do every year for my mom, and we do it all together. Just, you know, it's a fun time. And yeah, man, it's just, these are the times that we should all kind of cherish, you know, being with our people, you know, cherish the good times, cherish the bad times. So I just pray y'all had a great one. And now we're back to this bullshit now. It's the beginning of a whole nother month. And yeah, we're back to this bullshit. So there's that. So I pray this gets to everybody. I hope that y'all had a safe weekend and all that kind of stuff. I hope y'all didn't spend up all your money, because rent is due. Bills are due. Alright. Shout out to my other job for coming through with that bonus. You know, we was wondering. We were wondering ever since July if we were going to get this bonus. And they came through. And all I can say is look at the Lord. Just watch him. If you watch him, you'll be okay. You know? But yeah. So y'all enjoy your evening. It's a Sunday night. I'm watching football. And it's weird for me to be recording and editing. I'll be editing shortly and uploading. So it's strange, but at the same time, it's all good. You know? I just kind of felt like doing this. The next time I record, most likely it'll be on a new laptop. Most likely it'll be on a whole new mic. Because obviously, I told you people that is a problem for me to work at Best Buy. I've scoped out literally everything. I have created an entire studio. I have a new TV in my head. I feel like I need a PS4. I need gift cards for Christmas. I don't know, man. It's just a struggle out here in these streets. I need a gift card. I need a gift card for Christmas. That's what I need. From like everybody, okay? With a minimum of $25 to $50, you know. You choose your men. But 50 is good. No, 20, yeah, 50 is good. Yeah, I don't care. If you guys want to give me something, that's dope. But yeah. So hopefully the next time I record, or maybe not the next time, but maybe within this month, absolutely brand new equipment. I'm very excited about it. I need new toys and new gadgets. I swear I need new shit. I'm like going through withdrawals, not having no new shit to play with. Jesus, be offense. But anyway, yeah, I hold it down. I pray that the month of December treats you well. And I'll be back at you within the next week or two with another episode. I got to reach out to Rachel, see if we can finally get caught up on How to Get Away with Murder now that the winter finale has come and gone. And we've been both blown the fuck away by everything that's happened on the show. The show comes back April. This is the final season. And we've got 6 episodes. We got 6 episodes to know who killed who did what to why, where's who, and why is what. Okay? We got all of that in 6 episodes, so they better step it up. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, alright, I'm out, y'all. Hold it down. I'll holla.